Every day you can make today your day one where you change the way you live your life, right? Today can be the day where you start to get up early and you start to, put steps forward towards changing and becoming and evolving into someone whom you want to be and whom you would respect more than whom you respect today, right? I think us, even as accomplished people, they're always trying to strive for better, right? So like he targets a certain subset of people because he gets along with them well, and they can resonate on a recruiting call. But for you, many of the people that look at this business are trying to change their life. They're trying to become better and evolve and make more money and put themselves in a new world because the one they like, the one they live in currently, they hate, right? But there's changes you have to make because you chose the world you're currently in and you're choosing to live in it, but now you're choosing change. So as soon as you start to choose change, you have to actually change, right? That's the big thing. And so you can pick up the schedule and the disciplines of anybody from any background, but it all starts in here and all starts within you. So I love you sharing that. All right. Hello, everybody. Grady Polson, Family First Life America. Beyond excited to have Devin Nilson, a San Diego-born Arkansanian football star who's now made his way to Arizona and is now an elite producer in a landscape of other great producers, leading a team. Best month on over 47 families just last month. So the guy can definitely put up the numbers, knows how to protect families, make clients feel comfortable, get the business over the line. Leading a team, 10 agents, whom at the same time, those 10 agents have put together, collectively protected 200 families. So his agents do very, very well. He gets them up and running, helps them become profitable quickly, and that's important in this business. Get up, get started, and get making money, get protecting families, because you don't come in here to watch these videos over and over and over again without getting on the phone and starting to dial and protect people. We're happy you're here, but the next step is getting on the phone right after this and then going out there and converting those clients into customers. And so I'm excited to have Devin. I saw him speak recently at our summer sales conference we had, and he just lit up the stage. And I was like, I got to get this guy, pull more out of him, take his energy, and share it with the world. So proud of you here, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
You
and
too,
that was a great intro. I appreciate that.
Hey, you got it, man. You got it. So let's we're gonna do some sales today. Maybe we'll touch on some team building at the back end, but I love heavy sales just because you're such a good producer, and we always want to influence our team to produce at a high level, right? Your team will do what you do, right? Lead by example. I was always the number one producer on my team when I was selling because I wanted the right to coach. I wanted the respect when I did give them feedback, and the money was great too. My wife liked it, and I didn't mind it as well as all. So, but it's always great to do that. So we're going to focus heavy on this, but I'd love to start with kind of some backstory and just because you've got a pretty unique way you've gotten to is selling insurance here.
Right. So my background, born and raised in Oceanside, California, San Diego area. Beach boy. But I played college football out in Arkansas, big switch up for a San Diego kid. And I actually played out there with Bowen. So that's, how I'll get into this a little later. But, so played football in Arkansas for 2 years, got over the state of Arkansas. Apologize if any of you guys are from Arkansas listening. So I wanted to move a little closer to home, transfer to a school out here in Arizona. And then once I transferred out here, Bowen was actually with Family First Life. If you guys don't know Bowen Sweeney, he started hitting me up about this, opportunity, and I was still playing football, going to school, kind of was delaying it. Oh, I don't have time right now. That's going to be like a lot on my plate. And then I graduated. He continued to, reach out to me, try to show me this opportunity, get me with the program. And I kept pushing it off, actually. So I actually started, working. It sounds crazy. He touched on it earlier, but I was actually working with a hot air balloon company, basically a rogue carny. And so I would, just basically help these balloons go up in the air, go catch them, lasso them down out of the sky. And then, it was weird. It was weird for sure. But it was fun while it lasted. You know, me being an athlete, you know, I'm basically just working, like getting paid to work out, you know, move heavy equipment. But what happened, you know, what I noticed was I was getting really complacent and whatnot. You know, just happy with making enough to pay the bills, not much more. But it's also, you know, backbreaking work. So, you know, I had to bust my butt, you know, to get that or to pay the
How heavy is a
bills.
hot air balloon? Like whole
It's
setup. I mean,
it's a lot. I honestly don't have the exact amount, but it takes a couple guys.
how many could fit in one basket?
So there's some you could fit 3. There's some you could fit 20, and then there's actually one out here in Arizona. Yes, I know because I worked in the industry. There's actually one that looks like a dang school bus, and it could fit 30 people in it.
Just a floating school bus.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you tackle
nuts.
that 20-person one ever?
I've done 18, 20-ish. Yeah. It takes a couple guys, but yeah. Once that thing starts coming down to land, you hop on. You try not to get bucked off, but yeah, you got to be athletic. But yeah, so like, you know, back to you know, I was getting complacent with, you know, just hanging around people who are doing the same thing, kind of just making it by, happy with it, having fun with what you do, you know, just working out basically. And then finally, you know, Bone kept reaching out to me. And then one of my other buddies that me and Bone played with out in Arkansas, Kevin, he actually reached out to me. He's like, hey, Devin, I'm coming out to Arizona to train with Bone. I was like, oh, you're doing this? I was like, all right, let me try this out. And so I dove in, and the rest is history. At
That's
least
awesome.
let's hope. I hope for it. Yeah.
Right, that's right. You know, we got you. We'll lasso you down here before you try to go
Come
anywhere
on.
else. So, what's great about that? It's almost like a little. It's a fear of loss thing, right? It's like I don't want to miss out on what's happening, and you know,
Right.
obviously, you know, Bowen's built in a massive business. Great all around guy, and one of the best crap talkers this side of the Mississippi. So,
Both
but
sides of the Mississippi.
both sides of the Mississippi. That's right. But on top of that, it's from Bowen's perspective, it's continually prospecting high quality and good quality people, right? And we talked about
Right.
that, like your team or who you're looking to, who are you looking to work with? Like,
I mean, so kind of like-minded individuals, obviously, you know, people with a good, solid mindset and just people who are ready to just, you know, put their head down and get active. But for the most part, like if you looked at my team, it's basically a team of football players with some, you know, obviously some women in there who are some killers, and they were kind of from a sports background as well. But I love, you know, kind of targeting not just, you know, football, but like just like, you know, people who had a history of sports. One, because, you know, they already have a work ethic, they're disciplined. They have to have, you know, time management. Say if, you know, college football or whatever, you know, you got to balance, you know, football or sports with schoolwork and everything else. So, you know, I love targeting people who are from a sports background, who are just self-driven individuals who are just hungry.
and so you hear that, right? And you go, well, I don't play sports, so I can't do it here. No, no, no.
Mm-mm.
Every day you can make today your day one where you change the way you live your life, right? And today can be the day where you start to get up early and you start to, put steps forward towards changing and becoming and evolving into someone whom you want to be and whom you would respect more than whom you respect today, right? I think us, even as accomplished people, they're always trying to strive for better, right? So like he targets a certain subset of people because he gets along with them well, and they can resonate on a recruiting call. But for you, many of the people that look at this business are trying to change their life. They're trying to become better and evolve and make more money and put themselves in a new world because the one they live in currently they hate, right? But there's changes you have to make because you chose the world you're currently in and you're choosing to live in it, but now you're choosing change. So as soon as you start to choose change, you have to actually change, right? That's the big thing. And so you can pick up the schedule and the disciplines of anybody from any background, but it all starts in here and all starts within you. So I love you sharing that. So, okay. So, got started with us. So let's talk about your first, getting started week, month. How did all that go? Did you just go rip off 20 families your first month?
It did not happen like that. I see a lot of people doing that right now, you know, coming in their first month and just crushing it. But it was honestly a struggle for me my first month or two, actually. I started, and, 9 months ago, virtual was a thing, but like it was kind of, at least out here with our squad, a lot of people were doing in-homes. And so I started off with in-homes. I was running with, animals like Bowen, took me in the field, Rhett Scott, Colton Collins, just people who are, some guys who are just crushing it. And I was, thankful I'm blessed to, be working with people like that, or starting off and being surrounded with people like that. And that's a big thing in this is surrounding people who are where you want to be, or who are striving to be where you want to be as well. But yeah, my first 2 months were honestly a struggle. And I started off in this business with $150 to my name. And I was literally looking at people throwing down a lot of money on some leads every week. And I was like, how in the world am I going to do this? But I asked people.
What'd you do?
I asked people for their old leads. So I'd go to Bowen, Colton, some other people. I'd ask for the old leads, and I'd have, absolutely murder those old leads. I'd bleed them dry, and squeeze every last little bit of them out. Like, I didn't care. Like, they probably were, especially Bowen calling them, they're probably, dialed at least 20 times. I gave them 40 more dials. But that's like a thing I'm going to touch on a little later, probably, when I'm guessing we're going to talk about leads later. But
Sure.
yeah, so I literally had no money to invest in myself, but that's the beauty of this business is you don't really need a sales experience, sales background, insurance background, and you don't really need capital. Obviously, it helps. But like me, I started off with $150 to my name, and then so I worked people's old leads, invested that money back into my business, and then you just see, your money and your investments start compounding, and then you start growing more. You're able to invest more. You're able to reach more people, and obviously, make more sales because it's a numbers game. But yeah, so it was a struggle. I actually was in the field for my first 2 months. My last day in the field, I have gone like 2 or 3 more times since, but my last day in the field, right before I switched to going virtual, it was on my birthday. I had a horrible field day. Had one little baby sale to start off the day, and then I just got no-showed. And then on my way back home, my car blew up, and then I had to put that, into early retirement, and then I just started working virtually from home. And then I found my little niche with virtual, and I started running off with it. So that was kind of my start.
I love it. So how many ballpark presentations do you think you did in those 2 months in home?
In home, I probably did, by myself, when I was just going in the field by myself, I'd probably say I got like maybe I probably went like 5 times by myself in the field, and I probably had about like 9, 10, 11
So not a ton.
presentations. So
No,
not a whole lot.
Not a ton. You didn't go 200 presentations in the field and then.
Mm-mm.
So 2 months, you went in the field 5 times.
It was more like a month and a half, but I'm
Okay.
saying like I used to go with, I started off going, I went with Bowen a couple times.
Okay.
I went with Red a couple times. I went with Colton a couple
Great
times.
dudes, yeah.
And so, they kind of showed me the ropes. They were absolute savages in the field, and Rhett's still, a field general. So I applaud him for that. But, I found my niche doing virtual, and that was a big thing for me, is finding something where I could get as many presentations in as possible right from the start. You got to it's basically, I hear it all the time, it's a race to your first 100 presentations. Once you do that, you're basically a pro at it. You've seen all the different, circumstances people are in, different situations, different types of people, or, finding people who, might have policies or whatever. You get a hold of the system, and then you're able to work it a lot better and have a better understanding, and where to guide certain different people. But yeah, so I probably went in the field by myself 5 times.
Okay. So not a ton.
Yeah,
So then let's
tough.
talk about virtual. So then you transition to virtual. You're like, I just need to get more presentations.
Mm-hmm.
I can sell nationwide. I could be faster. I can work longer hours.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about like that. How'd that start for you? And then where are we at today with it?
Yeah. So with, basically, with doing virtual, my big thing was trying to find, like I said, finding out how I could do as many presentations as possible. And so when I was just working Arizona, I'm not gonna lie, like I was struggling with working with Arizonians, I guess you could call them. And then so I started like branching off to different states, and I started working, the South and like the East Coast, and I started having a lot more success early, just because it maybe just the people or whatever I was able to like connect, or maybe they're just nicer people, whatever the case was. But I was able to branch out to different states and then find some success in certain different states where I was able to get a lot more presentations in early, to where I got my confidence up. I got comfortable in the system. I got a whole lot, going through the full script, full presentation from start to finish. And then, I was just very comfortable with it after that. And after that, I was able to go to any state. And now that I had my confidence up, I had belief in the system, I started just running off with it with every state. And sometimes I'll go to like one state, dial those, have struggle with it, go to other ones, go back to it, and then I'll fall in love with it. So it's really like kind of, this whole business is about timing, and about just finding your little niche, finding what works for you. And I always tell my agents that, like, find what works for you, because there's things I can do that some people can't do. There's things that others can do and I can't do. So it's literally finding what works for you, and what's going to get you the most presentations possible.
I love it. I agree. I mean, it's Mark Mead had a great line. He always says, get good at getting leads, right? But it's like, get good at working, right? I mean,
Right.
find what works for you. But the whole thing is you've got to work. I always say, well, you do in-home, you do virtual, right? In-home, you got more in person. It's more personal. You can sit with people, need and eat belly to belly. You can drink a cup of tea and eat a piece of pie, and you can give them a hug on the way out. It helps solidify that sale. Virtual, you can just do more presentations in a day if you get good quality leads. And so but you got to know what you're saying first. So many of our new agents, they go, well, what do I say? I'm like, you're not going to know what to say until you start saying it, right? And then I can't fix you until I know what you're saying that's incorrect, right? We've got scripts, follow them, start working. But the worst thing you can do is just overanalyzing an $11 lead that you're going to screw it up and it's going to ruin your whole day and your whole life. No, like if this is a business and you're going to invest some money, you're going to buy some leads, you're going to have to work through them. You might screw up a few. That's okay. Friendly fire. Come back, get better, come back and make a note and say, I'm going to call Betty back in 6 weeks when I know what I'm doing. Then you call Betty back. It's like she never heard me before, and you take care of her and you move along with the business. So I love all that, man. So what I love for now is let's hear what you say.
You want me to go through like, a presentation?
Yes, but I don't want to role play because I always screw it up. So I just
right,
want you to kind of go through
just
it.
Flow off the top,
just
talk to myself.
Talk to your, and I'm here, but I always end up making jokes, or we can do it. We can go back and forth, whatever you feel more comfortable with.
I mean, I do it all the time with my agents. I just talk to myself and show them
exactly.
What's up.
So if you're here, this young man over here, how old are you?
25.
25. 47 families in a month. Okay, so if you're here now, this is where you go. He's going to probably say something that I'm not saying. So when you hear it, write it down. If you're watching on YouTube, pause, rewind, write it down, repeat it to yourself 5-10 times so that it starts to become your own, and then you start to say those words, and then you start to get the results that he's getting. That's how the business works. R&D, rip off and duplicate. So, D. Nilly, let's hear it.
All right. Well, first, obviously, like different types of leads, you got to know, like you gotta suit or write like a script or find a script that's gonna work for that certain lead. And so like I could do, like there's a bunch of different leads out there. So what I've been running lately is those ethos leads. I love those ethos leads. So I'll do a little script for the ethos. Basically, ring, ring, ring. Hey, Judith, this is Devin, just reaching out to you real quick in regards to the recent life insurance application you started online. Just had to double check your mailing address. I had the 123 Main Street. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. Now, when you're starting that application out online, were you just looking, for yourself, or did you have a spouse or another family member in mind as well? Okay, perfect. Just yourself. All right. Now, what was your main concern when you're looking into it? Was it just, covering final expenses, leaving a legacy behind to the family, or was it, protecting a mortgage? Okay, just legacy, awesome. Now it looks like you started an application online with a company called Ethos. Now, most of the time I run into individuals who start that application, either the rates are too high, the coverage isn't enough, or you just weren't able to get qualified. What is it for you? Okay, oh, you just didn't have time for it? Okay, perfect. Well, we'll take care of this real quick for you, Judith. Do you have a pen and paper handy? Awesome. I just want to give you some of my personal information here. This is my name, Devin Nilson. Write down my insurance license number. My insurance license number, you can look me up through the state if you want to make sure I'm not just some crazy person calling you here. It's basically like my business social security number. So it has all my credentials connected to it. And then, like I said earlier, it looks like you started an application online with Ethos. Now, I do represent Ethos, but I also represent just about every insurance company out there. So I could do all the shopping around for you, find what's going to best suit you and what's going to best, benefit your family and be as affordable as possible. Does that sound good? Okay, perfect. And then I just go into it like that.
Okay, do a couple more, a little farther deep into that.
Okay.
So what are the first three questions
Perfect.
you asked to really hook them into the financial inventory?
Then I go straight into needs analysis. I work mainly final expense, so I kind of skip all the mortgage stuff. So I'll be like, okay, perfect. Now this should only take about 4 minutes here, Judith. First, I'm just going to ask you a couple basic questions just to give me an idea of what carrier to go with for you. Then I'll show you your options, and then we could hop into the application, make sure you qualify for the coverage. Now, I have down here that you're 61 years young. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. And then are you smoker or non-smoker? Non-smoker, awesome. Are you currently employed, retired, on disability, Social Security? Okay, you're on Social Security. Does that go to a bank account or a direct express card? Awesome, okay. And then just a rough estimate, what would you say you received for that disability? Okay, awesome. And then now, do you take any medications? If so, I don't need to know the specific names of them, just what they're for. Okay, have you had any major surgeries in the last 5 years? No, okay. Now, have you ever had any, heart attacks, strokes, cancer, diabetes, any kidney or liver disease? Okay, perfect. You're about healthy as a horse, Judith. I love that. Awesome. All right, so now, do you have any current life insurance in place? No? Okay. Now, the company I'm going to go with for you first, Judith, is a company called Americo. The main reason is because, they have living benefits. Basically what that means, say God forbid you were to get critically injured, chronically ill, terminally ill, or disabled, you have access to the face value while you're living. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Now, do you still have that pen and paper handy, Judith? Okay, can you write down gold, silver, and bronze, just like the Olympic medals? Okay, perfect. Now, your gold option, that's going to be $40,000 of coverage. That's the most amount of coverage you could get with a whole life, so I kind of just like to show it to you. That would be $160 a month. Now, I don't typically recommend it unless you could afford it. Now, the silver option is what most people in your situation are going to go with. That's $25,000 of coverage. That right there is going to be $94 a month. And then even if you wanted to, just start something, lock something in today, lock in your age, health, and habits, that's where the bronze comes into play. That's about $10,000 of coverage, and that would be $45 a month, okay? Now, like I said earlier, the main thing we do today, just make sure you qualify for the coverage, because this is just numbers on a piece of paper at the moment. Which one of these options would you want to see if you qualify? Okay, perfect. Now, cool thing is, Judith, say we go with the silver now, you qualify for it, and you get the pack in the mail. You're like, you know what, I kind of want to bump this coverage up, bump it down. You could always shoot me a call. We could change it up for you. Now, let's go ahead, hop into this application. We can knock it out in about 2-3 minutes. Bang, bang.
Age, health, and habits. That's good. Well, I used to say, now, Judith, you're only one prescription away from becoming uninsurable. So right now, today, let's see what we can get you. Lock something in, just like you said.
I like that.
That's good. That was awesome, man. Smooth as butter.
Appreciate it.
Smooth as butter. See, it's just, I feel good. I feel comfortable. Bronze, silver, gold, just like the Olympic medals. Just smooth. It's good. It was awesome. So that's what's fun about this business, guys, is it took him some time to get there. But now, how fun is selling insurance?
I love it.
It's
honestly,
a blast.
Yeah. I love, just dialing. Sometimes I won't feel like it, and then I'll hear someone, talking a little crap on the phones. I'm like, all right, I need to get on the phones right now. Let's go. and then just having fun with the people. Have fun with it. That's what I love to do. Just bring enjoyment to it, because if you're just going in day out, just like it's another day, I gotta make some dials, I gotta talk to these crazy people. Have some fun with it. Be personal with your people, crack some jokes. And I'll probably get into that a little more later.
Yeah. So okay. So we got Ethos Open, and then the back half is pretty much all the same, right? So what are some other leads you run, and what are the opens to those?
So I mean, obviously, I started my first, like, once I started doing virtual, my first probably 5-6 months, I was running. I like to call them bennies, but the instant with beneficiaries, and so like a little different. But what the main thing I like to do is get straight into throwing their information at them, letting them know I'm not just some regular, telemarketer, scammer. I obviously have some of your information, so you had to have requested some information, whatnot, or I mean something, or I might know you. You never know.
Correct.
But so like say instant with beneficiaries, just a little bit. Main thing with different types of leads is just a little switch of like the intro. So leads with beneficiary, I'm like, hey, Daryl. Hey, Daryl, this is Devin. Shooting you a call. Just reaching out real quick in regards to your state-regulated life insurance options. I had your beneficiary down as Meredith. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. And then I had your date of birth here as 1/17/1942. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. Now, real quick, do you have a pen and paper handy, Daryl? Awesome. I'm just gonna, and then I just go into the same thing.
Same thing. Got it.
Yeah.
So but you're using Meredith as the hook.
Mm-hmm.
It's just trust.
Yeah.
Right. Who is this? This is Devin. I'm calling back from the insurance office where you submitted the request for coverage. I mean, I'll even verify their phone number. I got your phone number. Like, I called them on it, right? I got your phone number is this. Got your address is this.
Right.
Your birthday is this. Meredith, it's spelled Merdith. Does that all ring a bell? Like, I don't know who this is. Well, were you on the internet yesterday about 2:00? No, but my wife was. Is her name Meredith? Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Is she in the house right now? Yeah, she's over here on the couch next to me. Could I have a phone? Could you pass her the phone real quick? Hey, Meredith, just
right.
Like, your job is just, it's like paint, maybe not paintballs. It's like, because those would be hard to dodge, right? But it's like dodgeballs, right? They're just throwing stuff at you. You're just moving out of the way. You keep walking forward, right? Weak agents, they go, I didn't fill that out. Oh, I'm sorry, and they hang up, right? Strong agents go, I didn't fill that out. And they say,
oh, wait, what?
I didn't fill that out.
Oh, no worries. Well, obviously, I have some of your information, so something had to been filled out. Either it was you or a spouse or, another family member. Now, I had your date of birth here as this, and this. Is that right? Okay, now I had your beneficiary as this. Okay, perfect. I even have your email here as this. Is that the right email? Okay, perfect. Now, obviously, I didn't just randomly get this information here. So, even just to, take you off the list, I do have to go through some information with you. Go ahead, grab a pen and paper. Let me know when you have that. Perfect. And I just go straight into it.
Perfect. I already got it taken care of.
Okay, no worries. Well, which one of our carriers did you go with?
I went with, I don't remember right now. I think it was, I don't remember
No worries at all. Now, do you by chance remember the coverage amount and then how much you're paying a month?
Oh, maybe it was $30,000. I was paying $227.
$227. Okay, no worries. Well, let me just check the system. It looks like there's a red flag on your profile. It might be due to you just paying too much. But here I actually found Mutual of Omaha here for same coverage amount for actually half the price. Now we do need to make sure you qualify for the coverage. So it just takes a quick little application here. Do you have a pen and paper handy?
You just move through it. Just keep talking. Perfect. That's the reason I'm calling. Perfect. That's the reason I'm calling. I love it, man. So any other leads you work? Ethos, Benny's?
I've been trying some new ones. I'm still testing them out, but for the longest time I've just ran ILC.
Okay.
Leads.
So any other tips in general for dialing, right? New agents, experienced agents, something that it's like this is a Nilsonism, right?
Yeah, I mean, one, like you kind of you touched on it, like people, you said weak agents, who get hit with an objection and they kind of just give up. Like the big thing is, even if you don't know what to say, just say something. It's better than nothing, and you never know, it might work. So like just that's a big thing when you're starting off in this business, is just trying different things, finding what works for you, and just keep going. If you give up, you're not going to get better in the, in your presentation. So if you just, oh, sorry, I'll take you off the list, blah, blah, blah. Like you just lost, you just took an L. And so like, if you combat it, try something, like you're going to get better. You might find something that works. You might something random, I've tried some crazy things. I've literally door dashed a lady a cannoli.
That's good.
And it worked. So like, you think I thought about, randomly door dashing this lady?
Was she Italian? Was she
She
hungry?
was Italian.
Did she like dessert?
She was out on the East Coast, and she had a dirty Italian accent, and I actually matched her Italian accent. Sometimes, I don't know if I should say this, but sometimes I use a accent. In the South, I use a country accent. In the East,
it's called mirroring. It's okay.
Yeah, and
I
matching,
can't pull it off. So cheers to you if you can.
And like the big thing is just like what I love to do is just match the energy of my clients, of the individual. If they pick up the phone, they sound like they just woke up, rolled out of bed, they're a zombie, I'm going to sound the same. I'm going to be like, hey, this is Devin just calling you here from blah, blah, blah. If they're happy, giggity, I'm going to be the same thing, just matching their tone and being personable with them. A lot of people like to, go through it robotic, and a lot of the times that sounds salesy, and people don't like salesy. So I'd be personable, and obviously, this might work for me. It might not work for everybody, but I can only speak on like what I've been doing and what, works for me. So the big thing is that I love to do is be personable, break down those barriers with the clients early, get them comfortable with me. I'm cracking jokes here and there, trying to lighten up their day, make it enjoyable for them. Nobody wants to be on the phone for a while with someone who's just going to be boring, right?
Sure.
So trying to be personable with them, cracking jokes, finding things to connect with them on. It makes them, more interactive with the presentation. It allows you to, actually, like, you never know, you might become friends with the person, and then you have a client for life at the end of the day. So that's a big thing. You won't see too many chargebacks with that when, they remember you. So, cracking jokes, whether it's as little as me saying, hey, Judith, you're healthy as a horse. And, just finding little things to connect with them on. I door dashed a lady a cannoli. She called me back. It was actually the first phone call. She like tells me to F off right off the bat. And then, I'm trying to beat her down with kindness. She's still on the phone. She's like, I'm not interested. Take me off the list. I'm like, no worries, it was like Lorraine. No worries, Lorraine. Hey, I'm going to go ahead, DoorDash you a cannoli. I love you. Bye. Hang up. DoorDash her a cannoli. She calls me back. She's like, Devin, I freaking love you. She was like, I don't know if you have the greatest sales pitch ever, or your mother just raised you right, but you got my business for life. I was like, I didn't know that was going to work, but I just was having fun with it. But yeah, so just being personal with your clients, trying to, have fun with that at the end of the day. Like I said, make it enjoyable. It forces you, or it makes it fun to go to work, dialed day in, day out. It gets a little, repetitive, obviously, but if you have fun with it, you're going to go places. You're not going to get too complacent, and you're going to do big things in this business.
I love it. Let's just closing out this sales thing, right? Because the two most important goals of an agent is to make the sale and then keep the sale, right? So is there anything you do with persistency? Like, I know I always like to ask, how do you close? Like, what are the last 30 seconds of your phone call include? Do you say any special lines? Do you set them up for future agents that might call? Do you solidify future interactions? Like, what is the last 30 to 60 seconds of your calls? When the sale's done, app's in, it's approved. What are we doing to make sure that stays on the books?
Yeah, so I like to, basically, you could call it the conclusion. So I like to, basically say, I'll be like, okay, Judith, well, this should allow me to submit your application here. It should take about 24 to 48 hours to get the results back if you were approved or not. Worst case, if you don't get approved by Americo, like I said earlier, I work with all these different companies. I'm able to bounce you around, find you, someone that will approve you, and I'll reach back out to you. I'll keep you updated with the whole process. Now, do you have that pen and paper still? Okay, perfect. I'm going to have you write down my personal cell phone number. That number is this, and this. once we get off the phone here, go ahead, save that in your phone as Devin Nilson Insurance Guy or whatever you want to put down there, just so you have it. If you ever need anything or have any questions from me, I'm just a call or a text away, so feel free to reach out. And then also, we're getting you taken care of today. So if you ever get called by any other agents trying to sell you, just give them my contact and they could contact me. I'll take care of it. Okay. And then I just get it like that.
Okay, any follow-up text, email?
Yeah, so once they're approved, I'll call them. I try to call them. If I don't get a hold of them, I'll text them the information, and then I'll also email them, basically a summary of their policy. So I'll email them their policy number, what company it is, how much coverage, the premium, what are the benefits from it. And just so they have it and so they could kind of remember it, because I get a lot of people, or like I hear a lot of people or clients saying, oh, like I didn't let my bank draft that or whatever because I haven't seen anything from the policy, and then so you just lost a sale, it canceled. You gotta either write them with a different company or they might not want to work with you anymore. So giving them that little blueprint or the little just summary of what you just got before they receive the packet, because it takes a while for these companies to mail them everything, so they get a little antsy. But yeah, what was the main question again?
Just how do you increase your persistency? Follow up.
Oh yeah. So I call them. I let them know I got them. I got them approved. I try to kind of connect with them. I'll be like, hey, I get their beneficiary phone number, and so I'm like, hey, reach out to your beneficiary, whether it's their son, whoever. Let them know I'm going to contact them, and tell them how the whole process goes, and just let you know that I'm going to be your life insurance guy for life. And that's kind of how I break the news to these people. I kind of have a little joke. I like, hey, Judith, do you want the good news or the bad news? Okay, bad news first. All right, perfect. Well, it looks like you're going to be stuck with me as your life insurance guy for life. Now, good news is you just got instantly approved for that coverage through America. So congratulations. And then I, just lock it down from that.
Clever. It's good. All right. We got hundreds of agents out here watching this. New, old, experienced, and novice. Final advice from Devin Nilson on life, business, pursuit of happiness. What are we sending them off with today, man?
Honestly, main thing I would say, on a big crucial thing that I found is just buy into the process, and embrace the struggle. Like, you're gonna have to go through some tough times. Some tough times are going to be a lot lower than others, and you're going to question a lot of things. But when you put in your head, put in your mind, bulletproof your mind as well. Bowen likes to say that. Prepare your mind and prep yourself for those struggles, because it's going to happen. We have our own businesses, essentially. We build, obviously we're 1099, all that stuff. So, owning or running your own business, you're going to come through a lot of struggles. There's going to be ups. Those ups are great, but there's going to be those downs. And you got to embrace it earlier rather than later. Just because if you embrace it and you look for those things to overcome adversity, it's going to only make you better if you attack it. If you quit, you're going to quit at a lot of things in life. And the way I like to put it is, what am I going to tell my kids later that if they're going through a similar situation, am I going to tell them not to quit if I quit back in the day? No, I'm not going to quit, because, I want to see myself get better, all around, whether it's in business, whether it's personally, all that stuff, but just embrace the process, take advantage of your opportunities. And just, accept that adversity. It's just going to get you better.
Perfection, bro. Hey, honored to work with you. Excited for the future with you. Excited for the cruise. Excited for you to hit EVP by the end of the year, man. And just keep going, man. It's wonderful to see what you're building, what you've built, and how far you've come in 9 months. But when you put your head down, when you focus, when you go all in on something, you'll impress yourself every single time. So appreciate you, brother.
Awesome. I appreciate you having me.
All right, man, guys. Everybody, appreciate you all. Thank you for joining us. See you next week. Bye for now.